We have a few stories to talk about on today's episode of the Rams Digest. We're going to talk about a free agent coming soon, possibly joining the Rams. We're going to talk about if the Rams should even be interested in this player on the defensive side of the ball that could possibly be cut by his current team. We're also going to talk about Matthew Stafford a little bit. I know people are tired of that conversation, but we're going to hear the perspective of a couple of quarterback legends in the NFL giving their opinion on whether or not the Rams should even trade Matthew Stafford or their opinion on the situation in general. And then we're going to talk about Daniel Jeremiah a little bit, what he has to say about what the Rams should, maybe could do in the NFL draft, all on today's episode of the Rams Digest. I'm your host, Joshua Giron. Remember, if you guys are not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor and press that subscribe button now, as 73.8% of you guys are watching the videos, but you're still not subscribed to the channel. So do me a favor, press that subscribe button so you don't miss any daily Rams content here at the Rams Digest. I'm trying to get these as daily as possible in the sense of I'm recording at 10:30 p.m. tonight, trying to get this video out tonight. So do me a favor, press that subscribe button so you don't miss any daily Rams content. You kind of appreciate the efforts I'm going through here. Joey Bosa, I kind of spoiled already who we're going to talk about here with this title clip, but Joey Bosa, there is some rumors going around about the Chargers possibly viewing him as a cut candidate, and not even just possibly, actually, if you read the story here, it actually says, sorry if you didn't hear the sound, but it actually says Joey Bosa is likely, right, according to NFL insiders, Joey Bosa is likely to be cut by the Chargers, set to make $25.36 million in 2025. So makes sense, talking about cap savings and all that good stuff. And when it comes down to those things, the reality of teams and franchises in general, they have to kind of decide make these really tough decisions on some legendary players for the organization, right? Not that Joey Bosa has won Super Bowls for the Chargers, but definitely a player who's been, I think the fans probably really appreciate and love everything that Joey Bosa has done. Now he has tapered off in terms of production the last couple years, dealt with a lot more injuries the last couple years, so that is something to acknowledge. Last time we brought up a player like Myles Garrett, I know a lot of fans were hesitant about even being interested in a guy like that. Byron Young and Braden Fisk and Jared Verse, and who do you bench? I don't care. Bench one of them. Bench one of them if you get a guy like Myles Garrett. Bench one of them maybe if you get a guy like Joey Bosa on the free agent market. Now let's talk about how realistic this even is. So 5-time Pro Bowler Joey Bosa is expected to become a free agent for the first time in his career this offseason. Per ESPN's Dan Graziano, people he's talked to believe Joey Bosa is likely to be cut by the Los Angeles Chargers at some point before his $12.36 million roster bonus has to be paid out in March. Bosa's owed $25.36 million between his base salary and roster bonus in 2025. This is the second consecutive offseason in which the 29-year-old has been subject of cut rumors. Graziano did note there remains a possibility the Chargers attempt to bring Bosa back, especially with Khalil Mack set to become a free agent, but it would seemingly have to be at a lower cost. So the reality is it's not set in stone. It's not something that's going to happen for sure, but it is something that is interesting. Sorry if you guys hear my dog playing with a toy at this moment. It is something that's interesting, that's possible, that's feasible, because you're talking about the cap savings, how much money it is going to cost the Chargers to keep a guy like Joey Bosa on their roster. So overall, in general, right, it's just kind of an interesting conversation to have. Let me know what you guys think. Are you guys interested in a guy like Joey Bosa? If he was to get cut, would you want to bring a guy like that in? I know a lot of people are saying, well, Byron Young and Braden Fisk and Jared Verse, I get it, but I don't think you can have enough pass rushers in the NFL dealing with injuries. Of course, that's always a real reality that could possibly happen to at any moment. Not that you would sign Joey Bosa to be your backup defensive end, but if you have to rotate him in with a Braden Fisk, you rotate him in with a Byron Young, I don't really see that being a negative. I know, like I said, when I said Myles Garrett, some people were hesitant about bringing a guy like that in. Joey Bosa's dealt with more injuries, less production than Myles Garrett. So are you interested in bringing in a name like Joey Bosa, or is it just a name? Are you ready to kind of move in a different direction in terms of free agency and things like that? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. But an interesting story, I think, in my opinion. Talk about the trade, right? Let's talk about the trading back scenario of the Rams in the draft specifically. I know that kind of sounded crazy. That was a weird way for me to word that. I don't know why I said it that way, to be honest. But speaking of Daniel Jeremiah, what he has to say about the game plan in general, what could be the game plan for the Rams in the NFL draft this year. NFL Network's Daniel Jeremiah on Rams options at number 26 overall pick in the 2025 draft, including why he would be in favor of trading back and collecting extra picks. Shout out to Jackson, senior staff writer here. Interesting. Here's the quote here on accident. Pulled it up on accident. But here's the quote here from Daniel Jeremiah on this situation, on this scenario. He says, well, Les, speaking of Les Snead, the Rams general manager, has done such a good job in that range. So getting out of there and collecting extra picks, I'm all for that, especially when you kind of look at the direction that they could be looking. If I've got a lot of respect and appreciation for their ability to scout and find guys there, I'm talking about the end of the first round, I think, second round as well, I think specifically, that would definitely make sense to me. So essentially what Daniel Jeremiah is kind of saying is, I think the Rams have done a good job of drafting later in the draft in general. And so why not trust your scouting department, right? You've seen guys like Puka Nacua get drafted in the 5th round, guys like, Kyren Williams get drafted in the 5th round. And so since you're good at drafting later in the draft, why not? It's kind of a saying I've heard from a lot of, scouts and people who really do this draft talk stuff all the time. I always hear this saying all the time. It's like throwing darts on a dartboard, right? I didn't create that. That was something I've heard, definitely. And so, you want more darts. You want more darts to throw, right? The more darts you throw, the odds are you're going to hit one of them, right? And so you really just want to hit on one or two guys, essentially. You want to hit on every single pick you make, but the reality is you want to hit on 2-3 guys in a draft class pretty consistently. That's a pretty good number. And so I think for the Rams, maybe they may want some more dart throws, right? They may want some more options, more chances to possibly hit on studs like the Puka Nacuas, the Kyren Williams of the world. So because of that, maybe you trade back from the 26th pick. Now, what he was saying as well, I kind of cut off his quote to kind of just paraphrase him a little bit, but essentially what he also mentioned was, if you do trade back, we're talking about the offensive line possibly needing some assistance, and he was saying that if that's where the Rams want to go in the draft, offensive line-wise, your options get a little bit slimmer towards the 30th pick in the draft, the 31st, 32nd pick in the draft. So maybe if you're looking the offensive line route, you just stick and draft that 26. But if you want to pick up a second-round pick, you want to pick up an extra third, an extra fourth, whatever kind of you're feeling, whatever kind of trade option comes to the table, maybe trading back is a realistic option for the Rams. I think it does make some sense. You want some more draft picks. I wouldn't mind it. Depending on the players that are left on the board at 26, I would be interested in possibly trading back from that position. You guys let me know what you guys think about that idea in the comments. Legends, they're weighing in on Matthew Stafford's current situation. I get it. People are tired of this. That's why I kind of pushed it toward the middle of the video. But for anyone still interested in this conversation, right, this was actually good for people who are pushing for Matthew Stafford. Every time I bring up the Matthew Stafford trade rumors, I feel like people are thinking that I'm saying, trade him, let's get out of here. No, it's just ESPN's talking about it, right? Adam Schefter's talking about it. Everyone's talking about this situation right now. So I want to talk about it a little bit, one. But two, I'm curious to see different perspectives. And so one of the perspectives that we're hearing from is from legendary quarterback for the Rams, especially Kurt Warner. Here's what Kurt Warner had to say about the scenario. He said, getting rid of Cooper Kupp, it sounds like they want to make that trade for Cooper. Do they feel like they're not in that window? Like, he's kind of questioning the Rams at this point, right? Do they feel they're not in the window? I look at this team and what they did this year, and they took the Eagles to the end with a chance to win. They got a great young defense. Puka Nacua is unbelievable. Matthew's been playing at a tremendous level. I just think. I know he wants to play a couple more years. If I'm the Rams and I believe my window is to win is now, there's no way I would even think about moving him. Kind of what we've already been saying. I don't want to give a hint to who we're talking about next, but kind of already what we've been saying, right? Kurt Warner is essentially saying, first of all, trading Cooper Kupp is kind of interesting. And that's why this is even a conversation, right? Why are you trading Cooper Kupp if Matthew Stafford is your best chance to win? If Matthew Stafford's your best chance to win and you're going to keep Matthew Stafford, then keep Cooper Kupp and figure out a way to make it work under the cap situation. Because the reality is, if this is your best chance to win and you're going to keep Matthew Stafford because you think you have a chance to win now, then keep everybody here, right? That's your best chance to win. Keep everybody here. Make everybody happy. Try to keep this roster together because just last season, their window was pretty open to a point where people were saying they were a Super Bowl sneaky pick, dark horse, right? And so now, kind of Kurt Warner saying, he's kind of questioning what I've been saying too. I've been kind of questioning, I don't know where Les Snead's thinking. I don't know if the Rams truly believe that with Matthew Stafford, they have a real chance to win a Super Bowl. I know a lot of fans believe that after they took the Eagles to the way they played them, or played the Eagles the way they played them, and played the end of the season the way they played the end of the season. But again, I have to remind fans, just think about it from your own perspective. What did you think and what were you saying back when the Rams were 1-4, when the Rams were 5-6? What were you thinking? I think you were thinking that the Rams are done, the Rams are cooked, the season's over. And it wasn't, and they got lucky, or they played hard, and they not got lucky, but they won a lot of games, and they committed to winning still, and they won, right? And they had a good chance of possibly playing and participating in the Super Bowl if they would have moved on and beat the Eagles, right? And so definitely, I understand both sides. At some point, the Rams, when they weren't doing too hot, maybe you think it's time to move on from everybody. When the Rams are playing well, it's like, okay, maybe we just keep everybody here. Where do the Rams truly believe they are? Where do the Rams truly believe they have a chance to win or not a chance to win? Where are they in that belief? That is a question, I think, for Snead in the front office. But Kurt Warner is saying, if you really do truly believe you're going to win now, keep him. That makes no sense. You're not going to win. And I agree. You're not going to win without Matthew Stafford or with another quarterback another person at quarterback other than Matthew Stafford. And so Drew Brees also spoke on this situation as well. And here is the quote from Drew Brees. He said, I wouldn't expect that, speaking on trading Matthew Stafford. He said, the relationship between coach and quarterback, Stafford is obviously a Super Bowl champion, elite player, still has great years left there. You have to have an elite quarterback to win in this league. You've got weapons, and you'll continue to get weapons. They're a playoff team. They had a chance to beat Philly. They were a drive away to win the game at the end. You're just a piece away, but you need the quarterback. Agree. You need the quarterback. If you really think you can win now, if you really believe you can win now, win next season, keep Matthew Stafford on the roster. You can't do anything without a quarterback. If you trade Matthew Stafford, you're talking about Aaron Rodgers. We're talking about Derek Carr. We're talking about Daniel Jones. That's a real situation that the Rams find themselves in if they trade Matthew Stafford. Just keep the quarterback if you believe you can win. If you're giving up and you're blowing up the team, people can argue about how they feel about that. But if you're blowing up the team, maybe you do trade Matthew Stafford because you want the picks, of course. So that's kind of the decision Les Snead and everybody else in the front office has to make. That's the quarterbacks weighing in, the legendary quarterbacks weighing in, if I may add. So shout out to that situation. You guys let me know in the comments how you guys feel. Which side of the fence you leaning on? Do you feel like, hey, maybe we should rebuild? Or do you feel like, hey, let's just actually try to win next season because I think we have a real chance of winning? Let me know in the comments down below. Last but not least, trivia of the day. My favorite part, to be honest. I actually love that I've been doing this on the episodes. If you guys don't know, by the way, I bought a trivia game at like a Marshall's, Ross. If you guys don't know, it's like a cheap discount store. So I have an NFL trivia game that has like NFL trivia cards. I don't want to show you the answers for these cards, but I've been pulling these from there. So if anything's wrong, it's not me, it's them. So I haven't really honestly been Googling and confirming these trivia questions, but they're pretty accurate. So let's go ahead and bring up, last but not least, let's go ahead and pull up the trivia of the day. Now this is from last episode, so if you guys missed it, you guys can go ahead and see what the guesses were in a second. But the question was, what Hall of Famer is the only defensive back in NFL history to play 20 seasons with one team? So if you guys haven't done this before, it's pretty cool. You guys go ahead and give a comment. I'll go ahead and like them and share on every single episode. I try to give correct answers only, but shout out to Daniel who's been commenting every single time. I'm sorry to spoil, by the way. I know your answer was wrong, Daniel, but shout out to these three here. So Noxium says, my answer to trivia questions, Darryl Green, Washington Redskins, now Commanders, or Commandos as he says. Daniel guessed Ed Reed, and then we had Floyd Zane saying Darryl Green as well to that trivia question. Again, that question being, what defensive back was the only defensive back in NFL history to play 20 seasons with one team? The answer to that question was Darryl Green. So shout out to you guys for guessing. Again, shout out to Daniel. Even though you got it incorrect, I appreciate you continuously playing. I'm going to keep shouting you out regardless. So shout out to everybody who played this week on this next episode. If you guys have never played before, we can go ahead and teach you how to play now. So I'm going to read this question. This one should be easy. But I'll read this question. You guys go ahead and give a guess in the comments below. I'm not going to give multiple choice on this one, and I'll tell you guys why next episode. But no multiple choice options on this one. Usually I'll give you time to think about it on your own and give you some multiple choice options. But here's the question of the day. Joe Namath threw the last touchdown pass of his NFL career in 1977 as a member of what team? That is the trivia question of the day. No multiple choice today. That is the question of the day. You guys type your comments down below. Don't cheat. Don't Google it. Don't think about it too hard. Just give your guess down below. No multiple choice on this one. And you guys let me know what you guys are guessing on the trivia of the day, and then I'll give you a shout out if you get it correct, or even if you just play along. I think I'll try to give you a shout out on next episode. Unless a bunch of people, too many people keep playing, then maybe we'll only do correct answers. But that's gonna do it for me on today's episode of the Rams Digest. Make sure you guys participate in the trivia of the day. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel if you're not subscribed already. Again, that's gonna do it for me on today's episode. I'm your host, Joshua Giron, and I'm out.